Star Trek Beyond is directed by Justin Lin and stars the returning cast from the previous films. After journeying into deep space for 3 years, the crew of the Enterprise takes on a new mission and encounters a new baddie by the name of Krall. This guy of course means bad news, and Kirk and his crew have to do what they can to stop him. Although I've never been a big Star Trek fan, I've liked the last 2 movies in this series, and with a new director and an underwhelming trailer, I really didn't have high expectations for this film. But I was surprised coming out of this one. I do have a few problems that I'll get into later, but overall I had a good time with this movie. Normally I'll come out of a movie with a single actor whose performance stood out amongst the others, but everyone in this film did a great job with their roles. And that's to be expected with a third movie in this series. All the actors have a pretty good grasp on who these characters are. I really like the opening of this movie though. Kirk is beginning to question his reasons for joining Starfleet, and he's struggling to see the purpose of continuing as the captain of the Enterprise. I thought that was a very interesting arc to take the character. I also like how you get to see the crew deal with prolonged deep space travel. There's a fun little moment with Kirk and McCoy as they share a bottle of whiskey. The humor in this film is by far its biggest strength. In movies like this, the comedic really can very easily become corny or oversaturated, but that's not the case here. And my favorite moments come with Spock and McCoy's storyline. At this point in the film, the crew gets stranded and separated, and Spock and McCoy end up together. And their dialogue throughout the second act made for some of the best moments, not just humor-wise, but just for their overall character arcs. I'm not going to talk too much about the visual effects in this film. Big budget summer movies have gotten to the point where you really don't talk about it unless they're mind-blowingly amazing or mind-blowingly bad. Although there are a few shots in this movie where the VFX became a little obvious, but overall the VFX were fine. The action is a lot of fun too. I mean, when you have an entire sequence done to Beastie Boys' Sabotage, how can it not be good? But there are a couple times where we get a little lost in the action, like actors be running in and out of corridors, and I lose track of where characters are in relation to each other. Just small things like that, which leads me to what didn't work for me so well in this film. One of my complaints has to do with the film's baddie, and has nothing to do with Idris Elba's performance. I mean, it's Idris Elba. I haven't seen him in anything and not liked his performance. My problem with his character is you really don't dive into the core of who he is until around the 3rd act, so throughout the film you really don't understand his intentions, and he comes off as this run-of-the-mill bad guy. My biggest complaint for this film is its pacing. It spent more time in certain places than others, and it really hurt the story for me because there's a couple of twists and turns throughout the movie, no spoilers, but those twists would have hit a little bit harder had they paced it out a little bit more, spent more time on certain story points in the film. And it's a shame because the pacing really brings this movie down a couple pegs for me. But despite these problems, I did enjoy myself in this movie. I like the action, and I love the humor and the characters in this film and the actors portraying said characters. And because of that, I will give Star Trek Beyond a very well-deserved good game. If I had halfway marks, I would give this movie a good game and a half, just below high 5, but you know, whatever, it's my scale, I do what I want. So Star Trek Beyond, have you seen it? What'd you think about it? Leave a comment below to tell me your thoughts. If you like this review, hit that thumbs up button below, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, you can click right here and see more videos. Bye, Andrew.